Hi everyone. I am going to right now share some emails, and this is going way back to when Child Predator Services came to our home. This is 2 years after I completed my Master's of Counseling degree and had learned a little bit about this corporation, which I didn't understand was a corporation at the time, but was told to be careful and to always call the police instead of CPS. At least that's what my professors had said. Now I know more in that the police and CPS contract together, and so they have protocols, policies, and procedures in place, and then statutes and codes that they have created to support and enforce their unlawful acts. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of read some emails, and like I said, I had no idea that their safety plans that they put out there for people to agree to consent to, all of that, because they threaten a parent if they do not agree to the safety plan that they will remove your children. That's how they state it. Remove instead of kidnapping, because that's what it is. It's state-sanctioned kidnapping, and they receive funding for doing this. But they coerce parents, threatening them. They do not give full disclosure, nothing. They just say, you have to do this. And that's what we were told by Miss Katie Jones. She was the so-called investigator in the CPS case they're from Salem, Oregon. And so I thought, okay, well, I need to have some things in writing, because you're saying verbally we're making the safety plan, and they weren't giving anything, and they had threatened that if I didn't agree to it, that they were going to kidnap my children from me. I had a newborn at the time, 2 months old. They didn't tell me very much at all when they came in. They just said a threat, or I'm not a threat, that they believed that my husband was a potential safety threat to the children in our home, and they had received an anonymous call, and that they were going to investigate, and that they would tell us more as the investigation went on. So this is what Miss Jones said back to me when I requested something in writing from them. And she said, Sherry, you requested to have the information about the plan we made on March 11th, 2014, when I was out at your home in writing. Okay, so we didn't make a plan. She said, this is the safety plan that you must agree to, or we are going to take your children. Okay, DHS feels that while the assessment process is going on, that it is only appropriate for James to have supervised contact with the children, instead of your children. It is also not appropriate for him to remain in the home while the investigation occurs. It sounds like the family make a plan for James to stay overnights with his brother in Salem. This plan appears to be adequate. So she told me that I needed to tell my husband that he could not come home, that we were being investigated, and that he needed to find housing elsewhere, and that all contact that he had with our children, my 3 daughters from a previous marriage, and our newborn, were to be supervised. Okay. Although I cannot discuss the details of our involvement at this time, I will schedule a time to meet with the family as soon as I am able to do so. In the meantime, I appreciate your cooperation in ensuring the safety of the children until we can get this worked out. Respectfully, Katie Jones, DHS Child Welfare, 4600 25th Avenue Northeast Suite 110, Salem, Oregon, 97301. And her phone number is 503-378-8019. I'm not sure if that's still her number, but that is what I ended up receiving in writing. Actually, she emailed me because I had nothing to go off of. I was a parent who had no clue as to what was going on and what I was to do from here. And I reached out to family and friends, and of course heard about more the corruption within CPS from friends and from colleagues from school, and just that I needed to be very careful, and that if I did not cooperate, that they would be aggressive, more aggressive than they already are. So I just want to let parents know that it's important to be knowledgeable about this for-profit corporation and all of its multidisciplinary team, because they have players, contracted entities in place, all these corporations, the kangaroo courts, the police. You got mental health professionals. They call themselves professionals, and they're in place, and they're working together, and they're not working together for the best interest of children or the families. They're working in the best interest of their own corporations. And so we need to understand everything that they're doing, how they're doing it under the color of law, and be able to expose and speak out about this, and to stand together to protect one another, because the system is set up to protect their own, not the people. And I don't want to say that the people within all these agencies don't care about people in general. I think that most people went into whatever career they went into wanting to help, but because of the corruption, they're not able to. And so everyone makes a choice. And when you say, I'm just doing my job, and the duties are unlawful, then you are held accountable for your actions. You have to make a choice. Are you going to be part of the problem or part of the solution? And as you start seeing things not adding up, you need to further investigate and research, not listen to the people that you're working under, working for, and the politicians and all of that who are supporting and enforcing these unlawful statutes and codes. You need to be researching on your own and seeking outside and doing independent research, listening to the testimony, seeing firsthand what is going on, so that you can make an informed decision and stand up against this type of these crimes against humanity. That is what's going on, and it is time that we say no more to this. So I'm going to share some more in later videos, but I wanted to just start out by saying that I feel for people who are going through this, and I know that it's hard. I started to research, I started to reach out, I started to look for so-called attorneys who would support, but it was very difficult to do that type of research, because it seemed like there was no one there who was going to help. Everyone would say these are difficult cases, and you have to have a special attorney to take these on. Not all attorneys do. And so you start looking, and we ended up going with an attorney that we didn't know was part of the bar association, because they're all in bed together, and that they were actually one of the court-appointed attorneys. They're just all thrown into the pool, and we ended up paying her cash when she would have been assigned to one of us instead. And she told us of being working with CPS in cases, and how Miss Jones had just sat in front of her about a couple days before we had contacted her or come in, that it was a recent case that she was working with them, and she was telling them that this is how it's going to be and all this stuff, so making it sound like they were not on the same team. And so we were blindsided, we were lied to, we were gullible, we were ignorant at the time. So I just want to give parents as much information as possible so that you will be informed and you can get support from other people in your communities who are waking up and true advocates who are exposing this. So I hope this is helpful, and I will be back for more. Thank you. Shalom.